Back at you with another one, and this time we got the Hiya Godzilla vs. Kong Exquisite Basic Series Godzilla. And this is the GVK Godzilla upgraded version or second version. I have the first, and I did a review on that, so go check that out. And now we're going to take a look at the second edition of it. And it's a really nice box, you know, stays in the same color scheme from Godzilla vs. Kong, which I really love. The blues and the oranges really stick out. It's a nice box. You get a picture of Godzilla and Kong here on top. You get a nice picture of the figure. On the side, Godzilla vs. Kong. That's a really cool picture of the figure right there. That's a great pose. The back, you just have Godzilla and Kong here and writing. Here we have another very cool picture of the figure. Looks great just from the pictures of it. Godzilla vs. Kong on top. Same thing on the bottom. So let's get this sucker open and see what we're working with. Alright, so show you the packaging. You're going to get the standard clammy Goji inside. Let's get it open. Alright, let's get a peel away the plastic shot. I don't know, I like the sound of that. So, let's get it in there. Oh yeah, real nice. Look at that. Wow, you can tell the difference already. Okay, so right out of the box, you know, the differences grab you from the first edition. It's definitely a different paint job, and it seems like overall like a bit of a different look in the face. It's very, very well done, but just to give you, you know, a shot of it here, first time out of the box before I pose it, closed mouth. Yeah, it's, I think the first edition might be slightly darker. This is like a medium gray and a little bit of cream colors. It's mostly grayish. More gray than the first edition was, that's for sure. But very, very nice so far. So let's pose them and then we'll get back to the review. Okay, so I actually think it's appropriate before I start posing this guy to bring out the first edition and compare them so that you can see off the bat, because this is the second edition. So, you know, let's basically kick off the review before we pose this guy and get into what he can do. Let's compare him to the first edition so that you can see the differences. Obviously, one of the differences you could tell right off the bat is this is a darker paint job. Yeah, so that's prominent right off the bat. Yeah, you know, and also, not only is it a darker paint job, but the inside of the mouth is darker on the first edition too, where you get more of a blood red look to the inside of the mouth and the tongue. With this, you know, the tongue is more pinkish on this one. I tend to prefer the blood red look of it. I think quite possibly the first edition here has more character. And I think I'm going to say maybe looks a little more screen accurate in the face. Yeah. Let's see. Does he have better eyes? Maybe. Maybe they're the same in the eyes. But, you know, they improved on certain things also, because the first one has this, like, bolt that you see in the jaw, which is not on the second edition. And it also has a little bit of a wonky neck where the pieces are floating a little more, where they tightened them up on this one. So that's a difference. But because of that, I think you're losing a little mobility, a little posability and articulation in the head, where you could look further down with this. This is about as far down as this one goes. So the first edition allows you to look further down, and I'm assuming it allows you to look further up too. So we'll have to compare that and see what the story is as far as the neck is concerned. So let's take a look at that. So yeah, you do get slightly more range on the first edition, because it seems like it's a different kind of joint too, where you push it like back and up, you know. So it's giving you just a little bit more of a look to the sky. So that's just something to note. You know, I don't think that's neither here nor there. So yeah, it's a different joint. You could tell right there. It snaps down or back. So it's going to allow you to look slightly higher and more down, you know. And that's the difference. These are the difference in the boxes. I don't know, you know. I really dig this figure in spite of its, you know, in spite of its flaws. It's only two flaws, really. The flaws are the bolt on the side of his jaw and the loose pieces on his neck. But if you know how to work those, they actually function quite well. You know, of course, they tightened them up with future figures. This was their first figure, so they've definitely come a long way, and they get better with each figure. And these are both nice. You know, I'm not pissing on the second one. I think it looks rather nice. It's a good paint job too. But just to give you a comparison of the two of those, you know, and I'm happy to have both of them. Believe me, you know. So let's continue on with the second edition and pose them and get further into the review. Okay, so we're just going to take a closer look at him. Of course, here I have his mouth open. So you can see it's kind of on the pinkish side on the inside of his mouth. I don't know. There's something about the inside of his mouth that I'm not really feeling. Maybe it's like it's the color. It's the color pink. Maybe it's too pink. I don't know. It's okay, I guess. You know, and the teeth look good, but they don't seem like they're painted. They just seem like they're the same gray as the rest of the figure. But, you know, it is a screen accurate head. The head sculpt does look good. And the mouth is nice. It's not bad, you know. It's just the pink kind of stands out to me. I don't know why I prefer the blood red, but I just do. And of course, they did tighten up the floating pieces around his neck, which is nice, you know, because that was kind of odd on the first one. I don't know, although, you know, I don't like the floating pieces on the first one, but I did like the functionality of the neck, where you have to push it like back and up, you know, or down, out and down, you know what I mean? That was cool. This is a bit different, where they just like tightened it up so there's no floating pieces. So, you know, that kind of, you know, it works better, I guess. But I just thought it was kind of interesting the way they did on the head on the first one. But, you know, this is improved, of course. You don't want floating pieces. So it's nice that they did these tighter. I have seen some reviews where the floating pieces on the neck for some figures are a different color. That's not the case on mine. It blends in rather nicely. It's, you know, it's a primarily gray figure. You definitely see that sandy color that you see on a lot of the other ones. Maybe the 2019 especially, sprinkled throughout. But primarily you're getting a gray look. You know, you got a fairly nice tail. These tails on the Hiyas are kind of stiff. They do curve fairly nicely though, so I can't really complain about them, even though they feel quite crunchy. You could still, I'm good with a bend like that. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to go crazy. So, but, you know, I do really like the paint job on here. It's blended very nicely, actually. And that's definitely one of the highlights of the figure, the color and the way it looks. So, and the mouth is not bad. It's growing on me. You know, the pink was shocking, I guess, when, you know, compared to the blood red of the first edition. But Hiya really nails the screen accuracy of these figures, and it looks really nice. Godzilla's chest here looks nice. He looks brolic. Yeah, so that's what Hiya is known for, giving you good screen accuracy. We're going to try to get a closer look at the eyes here, which are done actually rather well. See if you can see that. Yeah, the eyes are rather nice. And they do have nice color in them. So that's a highlight. The paint job, the eyes. You know, the teeth look actually nice, you know. I would have liked to seen them maybe painted with a nice bone color to bring them out a little more. But you can still see them, and they're shaped rather nice. So you can still see that there's teeth there. Maybe it's slightly lighter, but it looks to be the same color gray as the rest. So whatever. I mean, you know, that's fine. I still think they look very nice. They're sculpted nice. And the dorsal plates on these are nice. If bland, you know what I mean? Like they're kind of like a matte gray. But it blends in. It looks good. You know what I mean? It's like a minimalist approach on the paint job on the dorsal plates to me. But I think that gives a character because they really blend in nicely with the rest of the figure. Which, of course, is just loaded with detail, you know. And, you know, you can see here on the neck, like these floating pieces blend in nicely. Whereas, like, on some of the figures, like the 2019, it didn't blend in as well. There were, like, several different colors. I guess that was, you know, the overall look that figure was going for. But anyway, let's continue on. Let's pose this guy some more so you can see what he does. All right. Now, you could get him into a pretty nice tail off the ground pose here. And I have to say, this tail is pretty nice. This might be one of the nicer tails on a Hiya figure that I've seen. It's got a little more posability and bendability to it. And I love that you could do a nice tail off the ground pose with these Hiyas. And as you can see here, from the way the light is shining on this angle of it, you can see a lot of that creamish, dustier, sandier color that's mixed in with the gray. And that looks kind of cool. But yeah, that's nice. That's a nice pose right there. And I like that you're able to do that. Right, we could also get Godzilla in a nice crawling pose here. And look at that tail, man. You could do a lot with that tail. You could really, it's got some really good crunch to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at that. That's pretty good, you know. It lets you pose it pretty far. You know, but you heard the crunch, though. That's the crunchiness of these Hiya tails. But it's good enough to get it in a nice, cool pose like that. And it's cool that you can make them crawl. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I think Hiya articulation is kind of underrated at times. You know, of course, it can't do everything SH Monster Arts could do, but you can still get him into some pretty cool poses. And I like that. That looks great. And yeah, like I said, from here you could see the blend of the paints. It's a nice paint job on this figure, I gotta say. That looks pretty sharp. And of course, we could get him pretty close into a swimming position, you know, which is cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, you could have him like that. That's pretty damn close to a straight ahead position. I like the, you know, like I said, the posability is there. It's not bad. I love the details. I love the texture on his skin here. And the dorsal plates are a little darker. Kind of looks really nice, man, this one, you know? The paint job and the detail on it is pretty official. Of course, you could get him in a nice running pose, a nice running position, which is good because, you know, the GVK and the GXK versions of Godzilla were pretty agile. You know what I mean? He could move. He ran to fight Mecha Godzilla. He ran to fight Scar King and Shimo, you know. So this Godzilla could move a little quicker, more nimble, more agile, jumping off the mountain in GXK into the water, you know, jumping on top of Scylla, you know. So that's cool that we could have him in a nice running pose, you know what I mean? And, you know, the running started basically in GVK when he was running towards Mecha Godzilla. So that looks great. I'm really liking the look of this. This is a really rough, tough looking Godzilla right here. And the detail on the skin is just popping, you know what I mean? The paint job is making the skin really come to life on this Godzilla here. You know what I mean? And that's nice. And, you know, this is about as wide as you could put the arms, as wide as you could put the legs, and as high up as you could bend the tail, you know. So, and as high up as you could look with his head. So, you know, you'd like it if the head went up a little bit more. I think, you know, people do that. Like, you could put like one of those three, you know, ball joints, and just make the head be able to look up. It's like a, you know, in my opinion, Hiya is like a couple ball joints away from the posability being so much better. You know what I mean? Yeah, you see people modify it all the time. I think you could. I think you could just maybe improve the tail a little more so you get more of a curve that, you know, in any direction, and improve the head so you could look straighter up, and maybe a couple in the legs. You know what I mean? But they're close. You know what I mean? You don't even have to go ballistic like SH Monster Arts. You could just add a couple ball joints and really improve the articulation. People modify them all the time. You see them online for sale, you know. But this figure is really nice. I really like it. You know, I'm glad I purchased it. The first edition, you know, surprisingly, I really liked. I didn't think I was going to like it. I bought it because it was the very first Hiya, knowing the flaws, you know, knowing about the bolt in the jaw and you know, and the wonkiness of the way the head functioned, but I still got it, and I really, really liked the look of it. And same thing here, you know. Wasn't, because I had the first edition, I wasn't planning on getting this one. But a friend of mine, my boy Rich, that I've gotten several figures from, happened to have it. So I said, why not be a little bit of a completist here? Look at those eyes, by the way. You can see them pretty good here. They look nice. Yeah. So I'm happy I have both the first and second editions. That's the bottom line. Updated edition, whatever they want to call it. Looks dope though. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring this back out here again, just to look further into these two. I like how this is a little darker, but I like the blending of the colors better on this paint job. You know what I mean? Where you could see, some of that sandiness is applied through different parts of this, but I think it may be done better here. But I do like the darker color of Godzilla. I really like the face and the eyes and the teeth and the mouth and tongue on this guy better. Whereas this guy, the floating neck pieces, and the functionality of the head is better. Although, the way this head works, you could look up higher with it, like I mentioned before, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, they look different enough to where you can definitely collect both of them. You know what I mean? And I'm happy to have both of them because they are way different. It's not like it's having the same figure. This is the old one and it's got a cool look to it, and the updated one has a cool look to it as well, but it's different. Very, very nice. All right, so now I'm going to let you take a look at them scaling with Hiya Kong, GVK Kong, and both of the boxes, which go so nice together. I love the color scheme of them. And these look perfect, man. Look at that. Look at how nice that scales and matches up with each other. You know what I mean? Like, these two are getting posed on the shelf together. That's really very, very cool. I'm loving it, man. Kong, the GVK Kong is a really nice Kong, and perfect scaling as far as the height is concerned. I think that just looks awesome, man. And yeah, I love this movie, man. This was a great movie. It's top 5 for me in all of the Godzilla movies for sure. Probably maybe top 3. I loved it that much. I probably like this better than GVK. Yeah, top 3 for me in Godzilla movies. I just thought it was so well done. Very, very nice. Got a chance after all those years, since 1962, to see Godzilla and Kong fight each other again. And, how cool is it that you could create scenes from that movie with these figures? You know what I mean? What more can a Godzilla fan actually ask for? You know what I mean? And a figure collector. These look great. Shout out to Hiya Toys. You know what I mean? Awesome, screen accurate figures from Godzilla vs. Kong. Looks so cool. Of course, you could recreate scenes like Kong shoving the axe in his mouth. Love that shit. You get a shot of Kong sticking the axe in Godzilla's leg. Yeah, man. Come on, bro. You gotta have fun with this shit. And I just want to show you how they scale with the SH Monster Arts Mecha Godzilla, which I think they scale very, very nicely. We haven't gotten a Hiya Mecha Godzilla yet, but the SH Monster Arts Mecha Godzilla is a little on the bigger side, and it seems like it scales so nicely with the Hiyas. So there's your GVK trio right there, and that just looks phenomenal together. Really, really like that. Yeah. Very, very cool business. Okay, so now I wanted to compare it for you with the Godzilla vs. Kong Heat Ray edition. So, You could see the differences between these two. And this is obviously much lighter in terms of paint. It's a light gray, of course. You have the ice blue spines and whatnot. It's the translucent heat ray version. So the paint job is quite different, you know, and the face is quite different. I think the teeth are much more well done here, you know. Those teeth look awesome. You know, these teeth also look pretty cool, but because there is the similar paint as the rest of the figure, they don't stand out as much as that. And those just look like gnarly, man. Some very nice teeth. But yeah, you know, I think overall this is the better paint job for sure on the figure itself. This is kind of light. Although he did give off those two different looks in the movie. He did look lighter in some scenes. But yeah, this is how these two compare. So we have 3 of the GVK Godzillas right here. The first edition, the updated version, and the heat ray translucent version. I will be getting the regular heat ray version soon. So when I do, I'll have all 4 of them out to compare. But for now, these are the 3 that I own here. And you can see they're all very different from each other. So if you have this, you don't have to say, I don't need this, or I don't need that. You know, they're all very different. They're all different figures, and they're all different collectibles to own. And I like all 3 of them for different reasons. You know? And I'm not going to lie, I think this guy's my favorite, believe it or not, man. First edition with the bolt in his neck, you know, and the weird wonky floating pieces and everything. He's got character, man, you know. He's tough. I like him, you know. And the heat ray's cool, too, for what he does and lights up and whatnot, but I feel the paint job might be a little too light on that. This one has a very good solid paint job, so that's all 3 there. And, of course, let's compare him with the SH Monster Arts GVK Godzilla. So you can see he's, you know, Hiya's a much bigger figure than SH Monster Arts. And for the most part, it's more screen accurate as well. Although, you know, the GVK figure from SH Monster Arts is rather nice. Although a little ridiculous on the paint, you know. But yeah, you know, sometimes I prefer a darker Godzilla like this. I'm not going to lie. I do like it. I do like when Godzilla's skin is a little darker. Although I appreciate a good paint job like Hiya has here. But this is, you know, this is the comparison. And, you know, once again, it's screen accuracy and maybe paint job versus all kinds of articulation. You know what I mean? You could pose this guy way more. So, but that's the comparison there for you. Both GVK Godzillas. And I will give you Godzilla's progression here from King of the Monsters, which is 2019. See how wild and crazy that paint job is, to GVK to GXK. And, you know, I think, you know, they just got better and better each time, to be honest with you. GXK is my favorite out of all of them. That just has a great look to it. And I have the 2014 Hiya on pre-order, so I can't wait to get that and just show you the entire progression of Godzilla in the MonsterVerse films. That should be coming soon, so I will do a review on that when I get it. Okay, so yeah, and the result is another well-done Hiya figure that comes highly recommended. You know what I mean? There's nothing you should dislike about this. It's very nice, solid all the way around, screen accurate with a beautiful face, excellent paint job, really nice. Like, the paint job is a super duper highlight. Really nice tail on this one. This might be one of the better tails on Hiya that I've, you know, attempted to bend. So, you know, and it's an upgraded version from the first one. So you don't have the bolt in the jaw, and you have much tighter floating pieces around the neck. So feel good about that. And it's nice. You know what I mean? For the price, it's worth it. This is bang for your buck. This is an excellent Godzilla figure. Bottom line, happy to add it to the collection. I started off with it not having any Hiyas a couple months ago, and now I got quite a bit and more on the way, and I'm happy to collect these. So, and I got some more reviews on the way, so just stay tuned. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel, like the goddamn video. I'll be back at you soon. Peace.